Welcome to Industry Beacon, where we shine a light on the trailblazers, the disruptors, the titans of industry who are shaping the future. We're not just talking about success stories. We're diving deep into the strategies, the innovation, the grit that drives these giants. Get ready to be inspired. I'm Rain Musni. Our nation is known for its warm hospitality and vibrant culture, but there's another side to this island nation, a booming industry that's transforming its economy and connecting Filipinos to the world. Welcome to the world of IT BPM, otherwise known as BPO, where Filipinos are answering the call, providing essential support services to businesses around the globe. But behind the headsets and the friendly voices, there's a story waiting to be told. A story of ambition, resilience, and the challenges of navigating a rapidly evolving industry. Well, still ahead on Industry Beacon, we have a truly special co-host this morning. Joining us is Jack Madrid, President and CEO of IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines. Jack has spearheaded strategy, digital innovation, and business transformation initiatives across Southeast Asia and Canada. So for our initial salvo, I'm glad that it's going to be a weekly episode, Jack, because so many changes in the IT BPM industry.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Rain. The industry is certainly in a pivotal stage. And happy to say that our position as a world capital of IT BPM is very solid.
All right. Well, we are excited to welcome Amit Jagga, EVP and Chief Business Officer of Concentrix Philippines, a leading force in the BPO industry. From cutting-edge technology to a global workforce, they're leading the way in customer service. That and more, only on Industry Beacon, here on Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Welcome back to Industry Beacon. This morning, we have a truly special guest joining us, a leader who's not only transforming the IT BPM industry, but also shaping the future of customer experience. Mr. Amit Jagga of Concentrix Philippines. Welcome to the show, Amit.
Thank you so much, Jack and Rain. It is such an honor and pleasure to be on the first episode of Industry Beacon.
The Philippines is a world capital in IT BPM, so let's look at the global stage and start there. What are the key trends, Amit, that are driving innovation and growth in our industry?
Jack, as you rightly said, we are at a pivotal moment in the CX industry, and there are a number of new trends which are shaping up. If I really classify, I think three broad categories of trends that are coming in. The first big one is a significant amount of focus on self-serve. We now continue to believe that no service is the best service. So how do you make your processes, your systems so reliant that there is no need for customer service? So that's the big trend. How do you drive more and more self-serve in the hand of the consumer and empower the consumer? The second big trend, which is coming in the industry, is all about empowering the person who's doing the interaction with the consumer. A lot of technology in the back end to make sure that the person who's interacting, which is our customer service agent, is a lot more empowered, a lot more efficient as they drive the business. And then the third trend, which is very, very visible today, is the trend around making sure that we harvest all the data that is getting generated out of all these interactions. This is no longer about being a cost center. How can you generate revenue? How can you fix broken products? How can you come up with ideas around new products for your clients? So that's the entire element of analytics and data that is driving the industry forward.
Amit, we've heard about automation and artificial intelligence in the past 18 months. We've also talked about the growing skills gap in talent. Can you talk through a little bit about how the industry is is grappling with this challenge, and what are some of the higher value and strategic solutions that are being deployed to overcome this?
Yeah. Gen AI has been a topic of discussion for a while, and I believe that it's a great opportunity for the industry. When we talk about the key trends that we spoke about earlier, I think Gen AI is enabling each of those key trends. When we look at empowerment of our agents, of our staff, Gen AI is key to empowering our agents. We recently introduced a solution about a couple of years ago, which is all about making sure that our advisors become smarter, where we're able to listen to each interaction, provide detailed feedback, provide them next best action that they can do. They don't have to go through multiple rounds of interactions with the databases in the background, but just focus on the end consumer. So Gen AI is one of those technologies which is definitely helping us drive the business forward. It is also a threat to a point that, yes, it will automate and make us more efficient, but we have to use the technology to our advantage. I also believe Gen AI as a technology will create a lot of opportunities for the CX industry, because a lot of our enterprise clients are not ready to use Gen AI. And companies like Concentrix will have a significant role to play to make them ready for using this technology. So lots of opportunities, a lot of excitement coming in.
So this fear of job disruption is not going to happen very fast. In other words, we have time to reskill and right skill our
Absolutely.
workforce.
I think we have enough time. We have to move fast, but we have time at our hand. Recently there was a survey which was conducted by Morgan Stanley with their interns, because the interns are relatively younger and they become the consumers of the future. And 93% of those interns said that when they want to resolve a problem, they want to speak to a human being. So the approach has to be that it is human-centered but tech-led, and that's where the industry is moving.
If I may, Jagga, 1.7 million people employed in the IT BPM industry here in the Philippines alone. One of the best places to work, and exponential growth. You have also 8 to 10% growth, 35 billion pesos in revenues for last year. But the Philippines remains number 2 as an IT BPM destination. What will it take to bring the Philippines on top?
I think we've been executing pretty well. If we look at our growth rate, so while we might be number 2 in terms of scale, and that has an element of population, but our growth rate is definitely number 1 across the world. So I think, and that's very, very empowering to see. But we do need support to get bigger. I think 3-4 areas which are in focus. The first one is around competitiveness on cost. How do we become more efficient in the Philippines? If you look at some of our expenses that we incur, the cost of healthcare in the country, the cost of telecom in the country is still relatively higher. Even the cost of electricity and power in the country is still relatively higher. So how do we become more efficient around some of those areas so that the overall cost to do business in the Philippines becomes more competitive? Is definitely one of the focus areas that the country needs to put on. The second element is compliance and security. Cybersecurity, as well as generally, fraud prevention continues to be very, very big on our radars. And there's a lot more work that we can do around that. Cybersecurity laws can be strengthened. We need to create more deterrent for people who do something wrong, so that we can create systems in which there is punitive measures that go after them. So I think security and compliance as a broad area is another area that we need to focus on. And then talent development. We keep talking about the new skills that are coming our way. And yesterday we had an industry meeting chaired by Jack, and we were discussing about how do we really build the talent of the future. So those are the areas I think if we work collectively, definitely we can get to number 1 spot.
Thank you, Amit. Let's talk about the ease of doing business, which is another lever that our investors look for. How would you rate the Philippines in terms of ease of doing business?
So I would say we've got a lot of support in the past. I would be remiss if I do not mention this, that we've reached here because of all the support we got from the government. But one of the things that the investors and the companies look for is consistency and reliability. any retrospective change impacts us very badly. And that is where I would actually encourage the government to look at it. It's okay to look forward, but anything which is retrospective shakes the confidence of the investors, because you do your planning, your numbers, your financials basis a set of guidelines that are in, and any retrospective change throws it off.
You're referring to the perception and image of the Philippines as changing the rules in the middle of the game, giving us this image of flip-flopping?
Correct. I mean, like the work at home, work at site issue, Jack. I mean, we've been going through that. I mean, a more consistent view always helps the industry. I mean, people can then do their modeling and then they know what they're entering into versus getting surprised later.
Let's change gears a little bit, Amit. One of the directives of IBPAP's Roadmap 2028 has really been a sustainability and ESG-driven agenda. And I know that your company, Concentrix, has been at the forefront of these types of activities. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing for sustainability?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question and very timely. Concentrix just got into the list of Fortune 500 companies very recently, and we have a very clearly stated ESG agenda globally, as well as a lot of focus in the Philippines. If I look at the Philippines, we recently granted through our Think Human Foundation, that's the foundation that we run for our ESG efforts, we granted almost 37 million pesos around water as well as youth development in the Philippines, so specifically dedicated to the Philippines, because we want to really make sure that we give back to the communities that we operate in. That's at a macro level, but more at a micro level, we've got 53 sites in the Philippines, and each of those sites have been goaled to adopt a community which they create as a self-sustained community of the future. A lot of those communities are actually displaced people who come together, and we provide means for them, working with the local governments, the LGUs, so that they become sustainable for the future and are not dependent on anybody else. So those are some of the other things that we are working on from a sustainability perspective. On the environment side, last year we planted 130,000 trees in the Philippines, so that was a big accomplishment for the organization. And a number of other things around climate as well. 50% of our energy in the Philippines is now renewable energy, which we are very, very proud of. And I think 17 kilowatts of energy saving initiatives annualized is what we've been able to deliver.
53 sites, over 100,000 employees nationwide. Countryside is a very big thrust of the industry with many benefits for local economies. What would your words of advice be to anyone seeking, a career in our industry, Amit?
So going back to your first part, I think countryside is of huge advantage to us. I think it is still underpenetrated. We recently made investments in cities like Naga, CDO, Bacolod, where we feel there's a lot of talent, which needs to be developed, which needs to be sharpened, obviously. But the base talent exists, and we need to work together with the local governments as well as the schooling education system to enhance them. In fact, recently we started a program called Turu Guru, which is train the teachers of Department of Education, so that they become more aware about our industry, about the IT BPM industry, and really help us drive the talent needs that we have. So that's on the countryside. Advice that we can give to our younger population in the Philippines. See, the industry is moving towards more complexity. With more and more automation, the simpler transactions are obviously going away. So what we need in our people is obviously one, great communication skills to speak to individuals across the globe. They could not just be from the US, but across all markets across the globe, like Australia, even locally, Philippines, Singapore. So how do you become a global citizen and have great interactions with individuals? Focus on technology, focus on the tech sector, because things like systems integration, things like Gen AI are big technologies that are coming in. So focus on that, and most importantly, work on your empathy. Because as more and more technology comes in, human interactions will need a lot of empathy to come in. So how do you really understand a problem? How do you connect the dots and really help your end consumers is where the industry is going.
There's still a shortage of about 800,000 talents in the IT BPM industry in the Philippines. We understand that your company, Concentrix, is actually investing in your people, not just in terms of capitalization for the business. How do we see this happen, not just in talent development, but also in the hiring and talent retention process here in the country?
Yeah. So number of things. First is, for example, as I earlier said, countryside is underpenetrated. We now have Gen AI technology through which we can actually improve the quality of interactions that the staff is doing. Because there are tools that sit on top in our telephony and help improve the accent of a person, help improve the communication of a person. I think that's a big enablement that we can provide. We obviously invest a lot in upfront training. Anybody who comes and joins us goes through about a couple of months of training upfront, which is communication, product. I mean, if they're joining a banking industry within our portfolio, then they will go through the 101s around banking, the specifics around the product. So quite a bit of investment. Like the first couple of months, people are not productive for us. We only invest in them to make sure that they graduate to the point where they become enabled to talk to end consumers. So quite a bit of investment there. And then a lot of technology intervention as well. For example, we've got a tool called Alba, which is a training platform which provides us a sandbox environment where people can actually start doing their interactions without speaking to a live consumer. So that it gives them confidence because they're speaking to somebody, but it's not a live consumer, it's Gen AI in the background. And they're doing role plays. So they do like 20, 30, 50 role plays before they do their first interaction with the consumer. So the speed to proficiency, which is a very, very critical metric in the industry, goes up significantly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show, Amit. It's been a pleasure learning some of the key insights that's driving the IT BPM industry.
Yeah, as I said earlier, a pivotal next couple of years as we see the interplay of artificial intelligence, human agents interacting with our global customers. So it's going to be an interesting industry to continue to watch over the next few years.
And we're looking forward to seeing more of Mr. Amit Jagga as well as Concentrix Philippines. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. See you tomorrow for more enlightening discussions on Industry Beacon. This is Rain Musngi. Stay tuned for Pathways to Success.
You can catch Bilyonaryo News Channel on Free TV, Channel 31, and on Signal, Channel 24. Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.